masters of the universe. The Legends of Grayskull podcast.
Legends of Grayskull is a fan podcast exploring the vast worlds of He-Man and She-Ra. Join Sean Scavarna and Matthew Duke as they discuss the history and mystery of Eternia and Etheria, diving deep into all incarnations of Masters of the Universe.
Hey, you know who's back? It's the Legends of Grayskull podcast. Now that you know, let's go. Get ready for the show. It's the Legends of Grayskull podcast. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Right now.
That's right now. Hey guys, I'm not going to give my big intro because this isn't really an episode. Sean and I were recording our episode 104, which will be available soon. And we've got a new review, an email, and just the last couple episodes have just been so action-packed that we haven't gotten to them. We had Skelly Vader on episode 103. Episode 104 that we just finished has all the San Diego Comic-Con news, reviews, everything you want to see from there. And so we just wanted to take a minute. We figured we'd pop in live, go over our new reviews. We got an email from Tony Moore. Just a little appreciation. We wanted you guys not to think that we forgot about you. So we figured we'd just pop in live. If some people show up, they show up. If not, it's here for you guys. So, Sean, why don't you take it first? We got a new review finally.
Yeah, we got a new review. We're starting to rack these up. I'm hoping we get a few more because I enjoy reading them. But we've definitely gotten some crap about this review in particular because.
So now, before we do this is on Shitty Apple, right?
This is on Apple Podcasts.
Okay. Now, do we have like an overall rating, or is it just reviews on there? Because I don't do inferior podcast platforms, so I'm not sure how this works. If so, what is our overall rating?
There are star reviews, star rating system. So the 5-star rating system, obviously 5 if you love it, 1 if you don't. And as of right now, on the ratings and reviews on the Apple Podcast app, we are at 4.6 out of 5 with a majority of, there are 16 ratings. A majority of those are all 5 stars with the exception of we have a 2-star and a 1-star. So,
and if I recall correctly, those cowards didn't even have the decency to like write why they didn't like us. They're just like,
no. We have every single review that is written in has been a 5-star so far.
Yeah, forget those guys.
So we don't know why it was a 2 or a 1, but hey.
If you think I suck, that's fine. Tell me why I suck. That's all I ask, guys. If you're gonna drop me, I'd say below 3. You give me a 2 or a 1-star. Tell me why you hate me. Say it to my face.
That, and on top of that, hey, if it's constructive criticism that we really can put into the podcast, we'll take it into consideration. But if you're just doing it just because you don't like our faces, well, there's not much we can tell you about that. So, and it's on a podcast app, so why the hell would it be about our faces? But yeah, this one we've gotten some heat from because it's taken us a little while to get there, and it is about episode 100.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I kind of
like ready for this.
I kind of like it in the heat from him, though. Mm.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know you love the heat from him because I know who it is.
I love the heat. Bring it, baby. Hit me. What we got?
I am convinced, before I say this, I am convinced you two are too bad at this point because the amount of agreement you guys have is mind-blowing to me at times. But anyway, so episode 100, wow. June 23rd, 2023 from Sit and Smash, 5 stars. So I had heard of this podcast in passing from a few folks. It was things like, it's not as good as POTU, but if you're bored, it does the job. Then I tuned in to watch episode 100 on YouTube, and I was blown away. That Curtis guy is amazing. Great insight, and not bad to look at either. The other guys played good sidekicks to him, but he was really the show. Can't wait to watch more episodes for the Curtis factor. He really is the most powerful voice in podcasting. You owe me a super chat for that, by the way, Curtis.
Thank you. Obviously, Curtis Ackerman, who wrote that review. And he has been disappointed ever since episode 100, and we hear about it constantly. So,
Yeah, he has definitely been vocal about why we haven't covered that in 3 episodes. Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy it. That's also part of the reason I wanted to do this little mini episode, because now like 50% of it is Curtis. So hopefully that'll help his overinflated ego feel a little bit better about himself.
We shall see. We'll find out in a couple minutes in the group chat, I guess.
We'll hear about it. I'm actually surprised he's not on here because he does nothing during the day, which means he doesn't have his notifications turned on. Curtis, ring that bell down there so you get notified when we go live.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I want to do, we do have an email back from July 8th from Tony Moore, Simba's guard. Probably should have mentioned on the show that we were doing this, Tony, because he traditionally listens to us through audio. I'll have to mention it in episode 105. But Tony, we were not ignoring you. Again, it was just the timing, and we had so much to get through. So I want to take this moment to read this. Dear Matt and Sean, going through your back catalog, I just wanted to compliment you on your review of Curse of the Spellstone. I will be going back and revisiting this episode, as I have not watched it in years. It is one of the standouts that does not get enough credit. Thank you, Tony. I completely agree, which is why we did that. That was all the way back in episode 2 of Legends of Grayskull.
2? Really? I
2.
feel like it was later than that. Okay.
Now,
So,
granted, we were still doing the half episodes at that point, but that still technically makes episode 3 chronologically, because we would have done 1. Remember, we were doing even were cartoon episodes, and then the odds were like storybooks or stuff like that. The half episodes. So, but in the legacy ranking, it's 2. If you want to go number of episodes, it was technically 3. But I never went back and changed those early episodes. So, but yeah, that was right away, because for that reason, because I always felt that it was overlooked and not given the credit it deserved. Just some points I wanted to make. It was an annoyance to me that Battlecat couldn't break free of the hover robot's grip. I know he is strong enough, most powerful tiger in the universe. My guess is the writer really just wanted to use the cat lands on his feet joke. Maybe you guys can just remaster this one teeny tiny part. LOL. Yeah. He could have broken it. He didn't want to. He wanted to jump up. There. Remaster. I really wanted King Helios in the Great Firecat in Classics. Pretty Kitty too, but that is getting off topic. I honestly hope Masterverse gets to it, especially after all the cool stuff that they've got coming out. Like, that would be a great thing to dip into. The last time I rewatched this episode as an adult, I thought a chance was missed to have Battlecat help He-Man chase down the Spellstone. But you are right, the ending is perfect as is. Even in an episode that showcases how much He-Man needs his team, he still needs his hero moment. It is his show. As always, thank you for your time. Sincerely, Tony, Simba's guard, Moore. I have to disagree with you. That ending is absolutely perfect. From the minute Skeletor shoots the Spellstone away, the tragic music, and then as He-Man starts running, you just get that main He-Man theme pumping in there, and that he's got that was He-Man's moment. That makes the episode for me. Like, that ending with him just barely getting it. Like, I love He-Man having limits. I love He-Man having those limits tested. And I'm not a huge fan of the overpowered He-Man where everything's so easy to him. He can be most powerful man in the universe and still have things be difficult, or like he just has to give it just enough,
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if he can't be beaten, it just gets boring. And Sean's desperately trying to remember the episode right now.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, no, like overpowered He-Man is the same as overpowered Superman to me. It drives me up the wall, and I mean, there's plenty of examples that I can even think of off the top of my head, like him stopping the comet on the one episode, and him actually throwing Grayskull on the one episode. It's like that kind
He
of
had
stuff.
help. He had help. The sorceress gave him
that,
additional power, and he still struggled.
I know, but it's like those are the moments that, to me, it's like you're taking it out of the genre and putting it into a different genre almost by having those moments. Same with Superman. It always has that. Yeah, he can juggle planets. I'm like, oh god, don't get me into that.
And to me, it's all in how you do it, right? Because I don't mind He-Man deflecting an asteroid. I have, like, if the asteroid's coming at him and he just like catches it and throws it, like, But if an asteroid's coming at him and he like, barely knocks it off course, and he's, down on the ground afterwards, and he, you can tell he's tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, that's great. You know what I mean? So it's not, to me, it's not necessarily the action, it's how it works. If he's, was that, famous saying, give me a long enough lever in the right angle and I can move anything on Earth, right?
Yeah.
So if it's that where he's like literally using all his strength to just barely bounce it back and change his trajectory, and he's tired afterwards, great. But yeah, if he just like, asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop, like,
yeah.
That same with Superman. Like, yeah, if he needs to move a planet, that should freaking take everything he's got. But if he just like, that's where it's hard for me to.
Oh yeah,
like
I know this is not Masters, but I'll just go there. Like the final episode of Smallville. Spoilers for anybody who might not have seen this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. You get Clark finally in the suit, and what's the first thing he does as Superman? He literally moves the planet of Apocalypse. Which when I was watching that episode, I'm like, I didn't need that. Like, I didn't need that to be his first display of anything as Superman. It would have been nicer to have it be something way more, digestible to the audience and to the viewers who were seeing this for the first time. But
I know we're getting sidetracked, but I was always disappointed just in the fact that how did that not end in a Darkseid Superman battle?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you go all that way in Smallville? Was that season 10?
Season 10, yeah.
Yeah. You go all that way. You see Darkseid throughout the season, like the spirit of Darkseid throughout the season. And then at the end of the day, all he has to do is push Apocalypse out of orbit. And it's like, how does this not? This is your hurrah. How does this not turn into Superman, Darkseid, knockdown, drag out, and probably at the end of it, Superman just getting the upper hand by activating a boom tube and forcing him through?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not go there when you've gone all the, they did Granny Goodness, they did Decide, they had the Planet of Apocalypse. Like, I know we're getting way off course, but it's like, you're right there. How do you stop? It's Taurus in the hair. You stop just before the finish line.
Yeah.
Like, what the?
No, and that's that was a perfect example of he literally just figured out how to do some of these things, and that's his first display of it for everybody to see. Right. So now this is the expectation going forward versus, well, if there's a helicopter falling off the side of a building, then you see a man fly up to meet it and make sure that the person's okay at it. That's different. And again, like when you do that with Superman, it's the same as He-Man, where you're starting to do that, and it's but no, like Curse of the Spellstone. Going back to that,
quick shout out, Paul Herman, the comic man. He jumped on to say hi, so thank you, Paul. It was just a quickie that we wanted to get out of the way unannounced, so we appreciate you just popping in.
And we happened to binge a little bit of comic-esqueness or superhero-ness on this one, so there you go too.
Yeah.
But no, Curse of the Spellstone, I would have to rewatch it because it has been 4 years we've been doing this podcast, so it's been a little while.
Yeah.
But watching that one, I do remember, like, I liked it and remembered more of it than I thought I did. And I still think it's funny that when you did the review of it from the cartoon book,
Yeah.
James Eatock didn't have as much nice to say about it. You and I are like, hey, this is actually really great.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones we
Go
disagreed
figure,
with him
you know?
on, oddly enough. And it's like, because to me, it is Curse of the Spellstone is all the things that Filmation does right. He-Man's got a team. He's not overpowered. Skeletor's a legitimate threat. You know, like, Evelyn's competent. Like, it's an early Filmation episode where it's like, it's hitting all the points. I know even you were like, I don't know. But then after watching, it's like, no, that is actually, like, everything that Filmation, I know Filmation gets a lot of slack for, or grief for, you know, being silly, campy, family friendly, whatever. But like Curse of Spellstone is one of those episodes where anybody who feels that way about Filmation, you know, that just goofy and whatnot, it's one of those episodes that those people need to watch. Because it shows at the end of the day, Filmation does understand these characters. Definitely second season, there's a whole list of reasons why they had to do some of the stuff they had to do. But at the end of the day, like, that's the core of He-Man that they wanted to make. And unfortunately, parental groups and networks and everything else sometimes just they influence in a way that's just unavoidable.
Yeah, but you converted me on that one. So
yeah.
I still have certain ones that are like for Filmation. There are ones that, I mean, obviously I'm always talking House of Shikuti, but I still like Diamond Ray Disappearance, for instance.
And it's right in that vein. Yep.
Yeah. And so, like, Curse of the Spellstone is definitely one that I would put in the top 5 after rewatching it and seeing, like, Matt really did bring up some good points about that one, and I can't deny that. So there you go.
I actually want to go back and watch our episode on that because I got the Filmation episode, like, committed to memory at this point. It was one of my most watched as a kid, but I kind of want to go back and watch our episode too now. So see what we said.
Well, that's the thing. There's a part of me that thinks I should re-listen to some of our old ones in the last, couple of days. That I was like, I wonder what I said about that. And did I sound nearly as stupid as I do today? Just to test the waters.
I guarantee you the audio quality will not be what it is today.
The opinions and the statements represented here are not those of Legends of Grayskull. It's just Sean Scavarna talking out of his butt usually, but yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you. Make sure to check out episode 104. It'll be dropping soon, if not already out by the time you catch up on this. Let us know if these lives are something you want us to see. Granted, we would actually schedule them ahead of time and not just pop on randomly. But yeah, let us know what your opinions are on midweek lives, like a Tuesday night live or something. Maybe that's something we might look at in the future. And until next time, please go message Curtis Ackerman and tell him how great he is so that he just shuts up for a while.
Or don't.
Oh, come on.